We all know that AI can help you create chord progressions, but can AI make chord progressions with different moods, emotions, and feelings for your songs? Today, I'm going to show you how you can convey emotion in your chord progressions, and not only this, but how can you generate more ideas for your songs using AI. If you want to discover how AI can help you discover better ideas for your songs, let's go down to the tutorial and let's get started. Let's start with a sad emotion, and we're going to ask ChatGPT to write some sad chords for us. Okay, so ChatGPT gave us an A, an E, and then an F, and then a D. And this is how it sounds like. This progression feels sad because it has a downwards trajectory. It kind of gives a feeling of hope when we go over here from E till F, but it completes the sadness when we go from F to D. But listen to how it would sound like if we had this D over here inverted. So instead of playing over here at D2, if we played it at D3. The main difference between one and the other chord progression is that one feels sad at the end and the other one feels happy and uplifting at the end. But wait, can ChatGPT write some happy or uplifting chords as well? So let's go down to our second example to write some happy chord progressions with ChatGPT. Since I want to play something that feels happier, instead of going in a downwards trajectory with the progression, I'm gonna go in an upwards trajectory, and this is how it sounds like. Even though minor chords are mainly used for moody and sad feelings, you can see that if we go upwards with the trajectory of our chord progression, we can still convey a happier and more joyful kind of feeling. But what if you use some major chord progressions, and this is how it sounds like. Even though minor chords are mainly used for moody and sad feelings, you can see that if we go upwards with the trajectory of our chord progression, we can still convey a happier and more joyful kind of feeling. Even though now we don't fully go upwards, you can see that the major chord still conveys a happier feeling. So if you want to convey happiness, major chord normally is your way to go. Now let's ask ChatGPT to generate a chord progression with a lot of suspense and tension. So let's see what it comes up with. Listen how we're playing essentially the same thing as the sad chord progression, but this major E chord over here essentially gives us a little bit more of a more joyful feeling to this progression, and also created a little bit of tension in the sound. But in addition to that, what if we add a one-note string playing a straight A over there? This is how it sounds like. Now this gives me the chills, like I really like this. Adding a one-note string can also benefit your chord progression by generating more tension because it keeps a straight note over there, but it also makes the chord progression feels better as well. So don't feel afraid to complement your chord progression with one-note strings or even pads that play only one note, because these give a lot of tension to your pads and they help convey that tension feeling to your chord progression. Now, what if you wanted to ask ChatGPT to make some chords that convey a lot of sorrow and regret? Let's see what he comes up with. Can you notice how it has the same downwards trajectory as the sad feelings that we had, but at the same time, instead of ending with a D, we ended with an E, and that conveyed a little bit more tension and also a little bit more sorrow than if we played with a D. So listen with E. Listen with D. D feels deeper, but the E minor feels like it has a little bit more regret. So that's what I love about this one. Now let's go, and what if we wanted to make this a little bit more hopeful? What if we played instead A, F, E, and then the G instead of the progression that we're playing right now? And this is how it sounds like. So you can see that the change in trajectory going from A, F, E, and then going up to G gives a sense of hope to the chord progression. And that is exactly because we changed the trajectory from the downwards to an upwards trajectory in the end of the chord progression. Listen how the same happens in a different chord progression that we're going to play right now. The same thing happens over here, and you can do the same thing with your chord progressions. If you want to convey a sense of hope, just start with a chord progression that starts going down, and then by the end, you just go up with it, and that will give a hopeful feeling to your chord progression. But now let's go to our last emotion, which is euphoria. Now this is really cool because it generated some chord progressions that has a major E and a major D. And this is something a bit different from what I'm expecting because they are not part of the A minor scale. And that's the cool part of using ChatGPT. Now to make this even more euphoric, let's use that one note string that we had before and let's see how it goes over here with this progression. Now pay attention to this. Listen how we're playing the same bass progression as the sad feeling, but instead of a sad feeling, now we're making something a little bit more euphoric and uplifting. And if we listen to those two last chords, it reminds me a little bit of deadmau5, to be honest, but those two note changes over there, they essentially made the chord go from a sad feeling to an euphoric feeling. And again, something that I probably wouldn't do if it wasn't for ChatGPT, which is really cool and essentially the purpose of the video. You can see now that you can generate some really cool progressions with ChatGPT. Let me know over here in the comments which one of these are you going to try next in your next song. And I hope you liked the video. Hope to see you soon in the next Abstrakt video next week. Ciao!